Hi, and welcome to episode 16 of Decoding Helix. Thanks for joining us. Hi, everyone. Thanks again for joining us. Before we get started into, the main body of the content, I guess, I just want to apologize for my voice. I'm going through a cold right now, and it's the reason why I didn't post an episode last week. That's when it started. It's still, ongoing with me, and hopefully it's going to go away soon, but I can't guarantee that it will. Right now, it's kind of, just doing my head in like a cold usually does. But anyway, so let's dive into what the topic of the day is, and I just wanted to pretty much get stuck into um, a question that somebody asked. Like if I'm paraphrasing here, but I found this question on a board on Facebook that business owners post to, and what it says, what the question asked was, if I do something that brings me a lot of money, that I don't necessarily enjoy doing, does it really matter if I enjoy that thing that I'm doing, so long as it gets me to my end goal, to the kind of lifestyle that I want? So to that, um, I want to start with reading a quote, and it basically, like, if you know who it is, then that's fine. I'm gonna say the name at the end anyway, but the quote goes like this: "Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking and don't settle." That's Steve Jobs, of course. That was one of his quotes, and um, look, I'll be honest, I sometimes surf the net and all I do is look for stuff to motivate myself in what I'm doing. Not because I don't like what I'm doing, not because I don't get along with it or I hate it or anything like that. In fact, I love what I do. It's because, sometimes, some days are not ideal. Sometimes, even though you might like what you do, you're still going to have those days where you're like, oh my goodness, I have to get out of bed now, and things are going to start, and I have to make coffee, and oh my goodness. Look, I'm sure we've all had those days. The point is, if, to answer that question, does it matter what I do as long as I make a ton of money? The short answer is yes, absolutely it does. Especially, I mean, I'm going to speak for myself. I can't talk for anybody else, but I believe that it does. And the reason I believe it matters is because sooner or later, you're going to find yourself in a place where you have pretty much conquered, or you're going to feel like you've done everything you can do in that business. If you don't like what you do, if you don't like what your business does and what it offers, and your interactions with your customers, and everything that goes along with being an entrepreneur, then you are going to pretty much start hating your job, because that's pretty much that's what you've created for yourself. You've created a job. But if you hate your job, sooner or later it's going to get to you, just like, when you work for somebody else and you don't like your job there for whatever reason, whether it's the money, whether it's your boss, whether it's circumstances, whether it's just the environment, whatever it might be. Sooner or later, as people, we tend to get very, very bored, or we just don't like the circumstances that we have to deal with in our workplace, and so we look for something better. But what I want to say is, yes, for me, it absolutely matters. It matters because if I don't love what I do, it's going to come through in my work. Eventually, I'm not going to be very good at my job. My clients will see that. My customer base will dwindle over time. Not only that, but it's going to affect me in my personal life, where if I'm one person. As much as I'd love to compartmentalize and say that I compartmentalize everything in my life, things do follow you around. You're a human being, and emotions and feelings are connected whether you want them to be or not. You can't avoid it. You can tell yourself that you're, very good at putting things off to one side once, that clock hits a certain hour. But the fact of the matter is that maybe for you it works, and that's great. For me, it doesn't. And so I found that if I don't like what I do, I'm not going to be happy very quickly in my professional and in my personal life. So, yeah, to me, it absolutely matters. And when you're not good at, when you've had a gut full of doing something that you don't love doing, you are absolutely going to kick yourself for starting it in the first place. Because all you then will have created is a job that may or may not bring in, a lot of money, but it also doesn't, it won't leave you any sort of room for growth or joy because you're not looking for that kind of thing anymore. You're just thinking, this is a drag, I hate doing it, and I don't want to be involved with this for too much longer. So, yeah, to me personally, like I said before, it absolutely matters. Um, Also, like I said, if you have a service-based business like I do, or if you're thinking of creating a service-based business, then your interactions with your clients are going to matter a lot. Those interactions will show your clients how enthusiastic you are about what you're offering. But on the other hand, if you are kind of just over it and are only doing it for a paycheck, trust me, it's going to show. No matter how good you are at your job, it's going to show. And sometimes people are looking for a connection with you because whether you believe it or not, you are the brand. You're the face of your company. You are the one that greets those potential clients. You're the one that speaks to them. And so when they see and when they feel that there's something that's kind of not right, you know, they're not going to want to get into that business relationship with someone who just isn't as excited about what they offer as they should be. And rightly so. If you don't offer something that you're passionate about, how do you expect that any bit of passion is going to come out to your clients? It can't. You can fake it maybe for a little while, but eventually it will catch up to you. At least that's something that I found. And I found that when I was working for other clients, no, not for other clients, for other companies in the past where, I worked a regular job. And those kinds of things really kind of affected me. I thought, wow, I'm gonna get this job. Once I get this job, or once I got the job, it's like, all right, let's get stuck into it. And then you get dragged through all the politics, and you get to know certain people around there, what they like, what they don't like. You get to know your bosses. You get to know what your job actually entails, because it's funny how, whenever companies advertise for a job, they tell you the positives. Everyone does this. It's no new secret or whatever, but everyone does it. They tell you the positives of the job. They tell you what's expected, from the job, and then you get in there, and you find out that what's expected of you, as far as the ad is concerned, is not all that's expected of you. And when that happens, you kind of think, well, okay, that paycheck is not as easy as I thought it would be, and I'm certainly not getting paid enough. Now, some people are motivated by money. I know that I was when I was working, a regular job, and I thought, whatever, I'll do what I'm good at, and I'll earn a paycheck, and that'll be good enough for me. As it turns out, a human being is made up of a lot more than just monetary satisfaction. That's not the only feeling that we have. It's not the only good that we look for out of our life. So doing something like that where you're really working for a paycheck and whatever, it won't really be what you think it is. It's not going to satisfy you in the long term. It's not going to do you any favors in your personal life, because you're going to feel that after a while you might go through like a phase where you feel like you're just going through this weird cycle where you work, you come home, you sleep, you go back to work, and it's just a rinse and repeat sort of process. If you feel that is what you really want to do for your own business, and you think you're going to get along with that, then let me ask you this: why are you thinking so small? Why are you thinking so inside the box when, if you're creating your own business, you got the keys to everything. You make the keys. Okay? You can open whatever door you want to whatever future you want to have for yourself. But if all you're going to do is chase money, it's never going to be enough. And I'm not trying to put some Tony Robbins psycho stuff all over you guys. That's not what it is. I'm speaking out of personal experience. That kind of thing, whether it's money, whether it's prestige, whether it's some status that you might be chasing, whether it's, wanting to feel that you're really contributing or whatever, those kinds of things are a little bit better than just chasing money, to be honest. But at the end of the day, when you see that you, might not be reaching the kind of people that you really think you were going to reach at the beginning, or things aren't working out the way that, you might have led yourself to believe, then all of that stuff is going to come back and affect you. So what's really going to matter when you boil it all down is, are you going to enjoy what you have created? The business that you're trying to create for yourself, are you going to, still be able to go back to it day in and day out when you discover after a little while that, look, it's tough, it's a hard slog, and you're going to eventually win, but for now, it's about nailing those details down. It's about understanding who your customers are. It's about working out some legal stuff that never even entered your mind before you started your business. So all of those things come into play. But if you don't enjoy what you do, you're not going to want to go through all of those things. They're just going to add more weight to you. And eventually, you're just going to want to throw the towel in. You're going to think to yourself, you know what? It's not worth it. So have a really good think to yourself. Do you really want to create just another job? Or do you want to create something that you are going to be able to, have a blast doing? Have an absolute, ball every time you wake up. You think, okay, all right. And even on days where you're going to feel like, oh man, do I have to get up today? I'm not looking forward to this meeting, or I'm not looking forward to, sitting through XYZ, whatever it is. You're still going to be thinking, you know what, but it's just for today, or it's just for that hour. So you don't have to waste an entire day kind of, slumming around thinking, oh my goodness, I'm going to get bored out of my mind going into this meeting. It doesn't have to be like that at all. You can just, it's so much different when you create something that you love, and when you work at something that you love, and when you start seeing success out of that thing that you love, you're going to love it even more. Whereas if you are just simply chasing money, it's going to provide that paycheck, and you're going to think, great, I got the money, and that's it. You're still going to hate what you do, and you're still going to have to get up in the morning and, start the reasoning process all over again. Okay, why should my eyes open? Why should my feet hit the floor? Why should I get dressed for, this client who, at the end of the day, you know what? They're just a giant paycheck to me. That kind of stuff is terrible. You really don't want to put yourself in that situation. And honestly, when you're creating a business, like I was saying earlier, you have the opportunity to do way more than just, make another job. You can make money anywhere. If we're being completely honest, you can make money anywhere. What you can't do is enjoy everything that brings money your way. So have a think about that. It's quite a heady kind of topic, and I'm sure that you guys have your own take on it maybe. Perhaps you've gone through other experiences where this kind of thing or something similar has come your way. I'd love to hear what you think. I'd love to know what your comments are on this. Please leave those comments below. I'd love to know what you guys are thinking on this kind of subject, and whether or not you've created your own business or are thinking of creating your own business based on simply, making a paycheck, or, I really love what I do, and I believe that what I can offer my potential clients is going to help them, and in turn, I get satisfaction out of that. Plus, it gives me a very good paycheck. See, the money should be like a nice extra on top. I know this sounds counterintuitive because we're all taught, in school, get a job, make money. But when you're creating a business for yourself, that kind of changes and you start seeing things differently and you start understanding things a lot differently than what you did before. So look, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Please let me know in the comments if you're, if you go to our Facebook page, which is Helix, Decoding Helix, a small business podcast. You can find us there. Sorry, this cold is really, really not doing me any favors, is it? But yeah, look, you can find us at Decoding Helix, a small business podcast, and leave your comments on there if you don't want to leave them on the podcast itself. Either wherever you're listening to it, whether it's off of iTunes, whether you're on Libsyn or where else? Stitcher is another place we're at. So yeah, look, if you don't find if you want to leave your comments, if you want to leave your opinions there as well, I would love to hear from you guys, and I'd love to know what you're thinking about on this subject. So look, with that in mind, I'm going to let you guys go. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. I hope that this has kind of helped you if you were struggling with whether you should create a business that is just going to provide a paycheck or whether you should do something that you absolutely like doing. It depends. Do you want short-term or long-term success and all that kind of stuff that goes with success? Or, are you just in it to kind of do something for a few months or maybe a couple of years maximum, and then have to look for something else? So, all right, I'm going to go. You guys have been great. Thank you very much for listening to the podcast. If you aren't subscribed already, you can do that on iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn. If you want to know more about us, keep listening. Please subscribe. Let us know your thoughts, and we will catch you guys on our next episode. So until then, have a good one. I hope the rest of your week goes swimmingly. I hope you're going to have tons of success, and I'd love to hear all about what you guys have thought about this topic. So I'll see you next time. Thanks.